And I am the villain, Russell Wayne at 313 Villain on X right there. But I don't do this alone. Welcome to the program. My compadre, Johnny Gaz, up in the house. How you doing, brother?
You like that?
What's up, Russell? Happy Saturday morning to you. Another great day for some Lions talk live with the villain. Things are going good, man. I watched a little Masters here lately. So that's been nice, doing a little work. Baseball in full swing for the kids. So we're doing a lot of coaching there. But other than that, man, life is good. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Had to back off that music a little bit, man.
It's all right. We're jamming this morning. I like it.
I love it, man. I love it. Not a lot of this is like the lull of the off season right here. It's like there's like 2 weeks until the draft, and like everybody's already done 7,000 mock drafts. Every possible person that could. Hey, and I don't mind that. We're gonna get into that a little bit today.
No, I'm with you. I don't think I've ever done in an off season more than 3 mock drafts, and it's like I don't want to do a fourth, but it's like you're right. We're in that weird that dull period. Just get us to the draft, man. Let's go.
That's right. So I handle the mock drafts a little bit differently. I don't want to do a mock draft. We'll get to this at the end of the program today, but we are going to look at some of the players that are going to be available at certain parts in the round. I mean, like I said, there's 1,000 different combinations of guys that we could get at pick 28. There could be a trade up. There could be trade up. There's 1,000 different scenarios with that. And we're going to talk about that today. Do fans generally set themselves up for disappointment? We're going to talk about that idea right here. But let's get into some of the news that happened this week right here. One of the things that I saw yesterday was that Big Z still in Detroit, man. He's out going to Pistons games, and I mean, I don't know, man. It seems like he hasn't left. It almost feels like a foregone conclusion that we are going to get him back here, and it's going to end up being a nice deal. What do you think about that thought, Big Z coming back here?
Yeah, that was it was good to see him at the Pistons game. I mean, there's a lot of excitement around the Pistons right now, so you can see a little bit of that. But I think you're right. I think that's a sign of like he was in town. I would think he's in town discussing things with the Lions. That's just my guess. But again, I think he assimilated himself to the community so quickly when he came last year. And I know when we'll talk about this, so I won't ruin it. But Brad Holmes did say, I mean, it was just dollars and cents why they didn't just go ahead and, re-sign him. But I think the plan is, let him get his rest, let him feel good. And let's hope that they can work out a deal where he comes back on a team-friendly deal.
And I think that's what it is. I mean, if like I talked about a couple weeks ago with Big Z, it's like he's a veteran, man. Like these guys don't want to go through the dog days of summer training camps because that's a young man's game right there when you're doing that. Those guys are trying to, make a name in the league and try to do, oh yeah, I gotta plant my flag. Well, Z's already planted his flag. Everybody knows he's a good player. He doesn't have to go out there and do it. And I think that's going to reflect in his contract. Okay, I wanted to go get more money. Nobody wanted to pay me $10 million a year. I'm back here on planet Earth. Let's talk. If it's going to be this lesser deal right here, I want to, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. Here's my markers right here. You just got to work out the other things. But I think that it's a foregone conclusion. I think Big Z is going to stay here in Detroit, and he's not going to get the big contract that he wanted. And maybe he did go out there and test the field a little bit, but I think he's going to be here. I like that too.
We're going to buy the kneecap off.
And then all of this talk, like it's so amazing how knee-jerk Lion fan is that's out there where they're just like, gosh, man, like every move that's made, it's not a pass rusher, and it's like, oh, they're dropping the ball, and it's like, man, you gotta let the game play out here, guys. It's okay. I haven't said hello to everybody in the chat yet before we get on to this next topic right here. Got Davies up in the house.
You like that?
Good morning.
Good morning, Rick C.
You like that?
Good morning, Bash.
You like that?
That might be a new person in there.
Bash?
Scott Harrison's up in the house. John Herman's up in the house. I really enjoy y'all jumping on here in the, on the live version of this. And I know that people are going to watch this on the replay and everything like that, but I really do appreciate the interaction, people putting in good comments. Questions are great too, because Johnny and I would love to answer your off-season questions.
Yeah, fire away. That's great. We appreciate you guys in the morning getting up with us and just having some fun talking Lions, man. That's what it's about, especially right now during this time of the year.
And as always, this episode of the Lion Villain Report brought to you by fanatics.com right there, where you can get that sweet looking Lions pull over hoodie by scanning that QR code or using the link in the description or in the comments, and save up to 25% off of your order for using our affiliate marketing partners at fanatics.com. We appreciate that. We love it.
You like that?
Thanks, Kirk.
Shout out to Kirk.
Kirk Chains in the house. And so that's a big thing. Tell me your thoughts about Big Z in the comments. Do you want Big Z back on a contract? What's the most that you would spend on him? What do you think about that? Next on the list right here, Taylor Decker.
Ooh.
Out there training with Giovanni Manu. I mean, with the name man in your name, this is going to be the man right here. He's going to be working out with Taylor Decker right there. What do you think about the veteran coming through and not letting his ego get too much of him, training the young guy that might actually be his replacement if we're wrong about him moving to guard? What do you think about this? Taylor Decker training with Giovanni Manu.
Yeah, so interesting and fun, and this is what you want. You talk about the organization, the culture, breeding better players for down the road. This is what you want to see, and it's a great veteran move from Taylor Decker's spot. I think it keeps him in a good position too, because he's going to keep training. It's going to push him, and obviously will push Manu to be the tackle that I think they want him to be. That's sort of been my approach to this, is he's the replacement for Decker down the road. This would lend itself to that. But who knows? Maybe they still could cross-train him at guard, and I think they'd be confident in him filling in on a short-term stint still if he had to do that. But long-term, this is exactly what you want to see. We know we love Decker. Try to get as much out of him in the contract he has, and hopefully you got a few more good years, and then Manu sort of takes that position.
Yeah, I love this. I love things like this because this is such a hard game when it comes with everything. And if you remember way back in the day when Frank Ragnow was drafted in the first round, we already had a center named Raiola, and he did play center the final his final year before Frank moved to center. He played guard, and he played guard because he was the best offensive lineman that was left in there, even though he was out of his natural position. I think that's the same thing here with Manu. He is a tackle. But in order to get him on the field with, Taylor Decker's he's still good. So we're not ready to quite replace him yet, but there's an opportunity in the middle of this offensive line, whether it be right guard or left guard, and he's going to get a chance to compete so he can get out on the field this year. And, he might be a little tall to be a guard, but we're going to see. They're going to get in the training camp. They're going to do some competition. I'm sure Taylor Decker is going to be working with him on, getting that pad level, getting that lower pad level and working it out like that. So, but that's my thoughts on that. I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome that Taylor Decker is doing this for Giovanni Manu.
We're going to bite a kneecap off.
Do you think long-term, maybe the move is to move Penei Sewell to that tackle spot and let Manu go to the other side, or you think they just keep things as is because things are rolling pretty well with this? Because this would indicate maybe they stick where they're at, but I've always thought they'd go the other way. What do you think?
I don't know, man. I mean, it's obvious that Penei Sewell can do whatever is needed.
Yeah.
And wherever he's going to be the best at it. So that's a nice problem to have right there. So, I don't know. I don't know. I would like, in a perfect world, I would like to see Penei Sewell, since he is so good, to move over to that left side. I would like to see that because I think he's the most talented guy, and it's the blind side of Jared Goff. I think he'd feel really good having Penei Sewell over there, even though I think he feels pretty good having Taylor Decker over there. I think that his 2 bad games that he had last year got blown a little bit out of proportion for the whole thing, considering that he was, a alternate to the Pro Bowl, and we're complaining about that. But good left tackles are hard to find. But if Giovanni Manu is out there and he's getting better, right? He came from a Canadian school where they, bounced the football to their receivers and it was still a catch. And this is different. This is
I love that.
You've had enough of that shit.
Oh God! Oh, thank you, Dan. I'm gonna move on from that, but let me know what you guys think of that. I mean, is it a non-thing? Is it just, are we just blowing smoke because it's the off season right here, or is this a significant thing? Let me know in the comments what you think about that. We did get some in here.
No matter what, that's an awesome veteran move from Decker. I mean, what a great leadership spot, and just puts him up on the next peg of senior leadership within the organization. So I love it for his sake.
Got a couple of attaboys in here for Zadarius Smith from Gregory and Tanya.
Yeah. And
Tanya also says the true leadership is unselfish, and that's what it is. We got the grit force right here in the D, and we're feeling good about this team. I mean, really, if you're looking at it logically, we have such a good core of potential all pros that are on this roster, and this offseason has been replenishing the depth pieces, the pieces that helped us win 15 games when all the guys that are our core pieces got injured. So it's been a boring offseason as it pertains to high level names, but we signed a whole bunch of people.
Yeah, that's rather, I don't know if you can pull up Rather Unique's comment, but that's kind of speaks to what you're saying. It's that's the ultimate question. Did the Lions and the organization do enough to take the next step? They want to win a Super Bowl. We all want them to win a Super Bowl. So did they do enough? That's really the question.
Does Brad want it? Yeah. Or settle for relevance. So the thing I don't like about that question is it's making the assumption we went out and we went at full strength and won 15 games last year, and then we fell short because we didn't have the whatever guys, or the guys didn't play good enough, right? Yeah, we got into the playoffs and our defensive line working with second and third string guys at best. And I mean, you want to call it an excuse, you want to call it the reason, rather. I want to see, does Brad want a Super Bowl? I think he does want a Super Bowl. And I think that he realizes that there were 17 injuries on defense last year. And he's going, I wonder what it would be like to run this back with our explosive offense and then have Aiden Hutchinson and Alex Anzalone and Aleem McNeil and all of these defensive players just to run it back. I mean, I want to see what happens just with this team if we could win a Super Bowl with it. So if relevance is winning 15 games with our backup, then, and that's all we get, then that would suck. But I think that we're going to be better just by adding Hutchinson. And thank you for making such a good segue right there. Because that's what I want to talk about. Is Hutchinson ready? Is he already ready? If you saw that video of him out there running, you were like, gosh, man, he really, really looks ready. But then you see the interview that I posted up on the Villain Squad page, and he's like, I feel great. I mean, he is done with the rehab, and he's about ready to just go into a regular offseason. What do you think about that? Is he ready? Is he really ready to go? Is this just speaking, is he just prophesying, trying to make the fan base feel better?
I think it's the air in Augusta, Georgia that gets everybody feeling just so high about themselves sometimes. But no, the thing was, I think it sounded confident. He said everything you want to hear him say. It felt to me like that interview told me that he was kind of done with being treated like an injured player. So he was ready to just move forward and get back to being Hutchinson and stop having people come into the room and tell him, how you doing, how you feeling. He just wants to feel like a player again. So putting out that video of him sprinting down the field and doing those kind of things, I think puts him back in that light. So to me, I have all the confidence in the world that he's ready to contribute day one. I think they'll take it easy on him, obviously, through OTAs, training camp, and figure out what that looks like as part of his rehab. But I expect him to go week 1.
But one of the things that he said there, and this is the thing, it's like I hear all these part-time doctors that tell me that he's never going to be the same or all that, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm not a doctor, so I have no idea. But I know that the professionals that I've listened to that have spoke on it says that you can absolutely come back from this, and it's not like he broke his leg off, but they replaced it and put like metal in there. So once the bone healed, the leg's actually going to be stronger than it was. And when you're talking about rehab, when he says that he is finished with his rehab, that means that there's no rehab after that. That means he's going to go in and take his test, just like he said in the interview. Mm-hmm. He's going to take the tests, and he's 100% sure that he's going to go and pass those with flying colors, because he's been doing the rehab, because he's a cyborg. He's a machine when it comes to the rehab. He's going to do it better and faster. And that means that he's going to go into not just OTAs, not just the training camps. He's going to go into this off-season workout program fully healthy and business as usual. Like the injury didn't even happen. That's what happens when they say the rehab is done. That doesn't mean, oh man, we better take it easy. That means the rehab, that means that the leg is healed. They don't say the rehab is over until the leg is healed. Not part the way healed, or, oh, we better figure it out first. No, that means healed. That means a doctor, a guy that has a degree, that went to school for 10 years, looked at his leg and said he is fully healthy. That's when the rehab is over. So, is Hutchinson ready? Yes. As soon as they give him that clearance, he's ready to play football. Like, not get his leg ready to play football. He spent the entire, since week 5, getting the rehab done so he can be ready to start football programming. Actually, he was trying to get back by the Super Bowl, but that was probably more of a pipe dream. But Alex Anzalone came back before he was ready. So Hutchinson being ready, that makes me excited. You're going to get, there's probably 4 or 5 top defensive ends, the elite pass rushers in the league. We have one of them. I mean, I know that I'm just regurgitating what Brad Holmes said, but he's smarter than me. So when I look for things that to make myself look smart, I usually follow what the coaches or the general manager, the people that are in the football area say that. So, yeah, I think that we're going to have a top 5. We're going to add a top 5 elite pass rusher to a 15-2 team.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, it's hard to imagine where they could have been if he's healthy for the remainder of that season, but it is what it is. The reality of it, he wasn't there, but they still did everything that we wanted them to do except win in the playoffs. And there was a lot of reasons why they didn't win that game. And, Jared Goff needs to play better, but you're right. There was no pressure. There was no pass rush. There was no containing Jaden Daniels in that football game. And it just was, I think everything got so much worse when Aleem went out. So, you lose Aiden, and that's the biggest piece. But then Aleem goes out, and all your interior pressure's gone, and the whole thing just fell apart. So, I'm super confident. I agree with everything you said. I'm excited for him more than anything, the man, just to be able to reprove himself and reestablish, and I expect that to be the case. He's also a faithful guy. He's a hardworking guy. He's a great leader. I mean, it's the right kind of person, and I just think everything aligned the right way. There was a little bit of luck with the way his bone broke. I know there was some deals with ligaments and some other things that come into play. This would be different, but things worked out in his favor, and I think it will ultimately work out for the Lions. And I think the most excited person has got to be Kelvin Shepherd, because he can now start to really scheme this up the way he wants to. Even without Aleem to start, they can do a lot of things now with Aiden back full steam.
You hear that? That's what Johnny Gas says. They're going to be back full steam.
Ramp it.
Can ramp it up. Now, I know that there's the talk of the entire offseason has been, we got to get Aiden Hutchinson help. We got to get him help. No, we do need to get Aiden Hutchinson help. But before we get Aiden Hutchinson help, we need to get Aiden Hutchinson. Like, it's like we did what we did last year without him. So it's not, he wasn't there. So I think that the thing that gets lost in this, oh yeah, you got owned in the first playoff game. It's like, that is an Aiden Hutchinson-less team, an Aleem McNeil-less team. You had Alex Anzalone playing on a half of an arm. Now, he was playing, that's fine, playing under injury, but he's going to be back at full strength. No Derek Barnes in there. Now, you can think what you want to think about Derek Barnes, but he was having a good season up until, like, his best season. He was trending in the direction that everybody thought he could be when they drafted him in the 4th round. Develop. He turned into that linebacker, and that's why they extended him, by the way. So I love this team. And the more and more you really think about it, bringing back these guys that stepped in and got this team to 15 wins, bringing back those guys while our core guys were injured, that's not smart.
It is.
It's very smart. We got a lot of good love in here from, for Hutchinson. And that's good. That's good. I'm glad that at least the fans on this show, the ones that come and watch this show, I feel like we got some smart Lion fans in here.
It's that time of year, you know what I mean? And you're right. It's one of those things where I think a lot of just prior to the draft, right after free agency, and I think people that look at the Brad Holmes strategy for what it is understand the long-term picture. So it's like you have a lot of reason to be excited because they're not done. There's a lot of optimism. This, in my opinion, it's still the best team the Lions have had in my lifetime as far as talent and coaching and the organization structure, everything working together as one. So it's like, let's give it time. We're not going to sit here and sell, a Lions Super Bowl in 2025 just yet. But I think there's a lot of the right pieces in place to feel good about where they're at right now. And that's what we're discussing. It's a good time to be a Lions fan.
And I'm seeing and I'm not going to read the doctor opinions in here because there are no doctors in our comments. And, talking about tissues and all of these, I don't know anything about that. I didn't hear any of that from the doctors that I listened to talk about the injury of long-term effects or this or that. I just listened to what the information is. It is. I don't know what it's going to be like long-term. I have no idea. I just know that he says that he feels great right now in that. And like you had just said, the break was clean and all the spots, there was no tissue damage. They got lucky to be able to get him to a hospital so quickly. I mean, the injury was, I think that the surgery was done before the game was even over or something like that. Or it was done quickly. Yeah.
It was weird. I don't know all the ins and outs, but you're right. They had the type, like the hospital he had to be at to get the surgery he required was like the closest hospital to the stadium. So everything just aligned perfectly in that sense. But, again, it's like, it's okay to sit here and be excited about it. I think he's selling the optimism. We've seen it on tape, and now we're going to see it in action. I'm excited.
He's got a lot of motivation too, and that really sets up you guys are doing a great job today at setting up the next topics. It's so good right here, and this is something that I text you later in the morning about this because this is something that's just kind of been on my mind, and it really is kind of reflected in the comments because I don't want to down on anybody's thoughts and what they think. But do Lions fans in general set themselves up for disappointment as it pertains with their mock drafts and free agency? What are your thoughts on that, Johnny Gass?
Yes. I will just try to put a definitive because I'm only going to speak it from my personal perspective because when I'm doing mock draft, I get carried away with it. I'm a real person. Like I have flaws, and like I want them to get the best player available and make the perfect move. And like I can manipulate mock drafts, and I think anybody can sort of manipulate mock drafts any way they want to make themselves look smarter, feel better, and you see a lot of that. And so I'm not immune to it. So I try to do it as honest as I can, but the truth is I'm excited about my Lions. I'm biased towards them, and it happens. So yes, I think there is some set yourself up for disappointment, because especially right now with the way the team is and where we're at, like we're that close. In my opinion, we're just that close. And to me, it is one or two moves. It's one or two plays that make the difference. So it might be setting myself up for disappointment. And yes, I'll answer the question that way, but I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the other side of the disappointment.
So I'll take it even a step further out than that. It's not just Lion fans. I think that just NFL, the way that it is set up in this day and age, with instant information, with the fact that they got mock draft simulators on like every NFL based site that's out there, is you just kind of wear it out, right? I mean, I know people that have been doing mock drafts since before the off season even started, like before even knowing anything about these guys. They're throwing up names. Oh, this guy, that guy. And I'm like, man, I haven't even looked at some of these guys yet. And I think they do set themselves up for disappointment, because what do? You go through it and you come up with every possible scenario. God, I think that you could probably mock yourself 28 different guys. Somehow you get Abdul Carter. Somehow you get, Stewart. Somehow you get, you probably even mock who's the super running back.
Genty. Yeah.
It's like you've hit and then you start deciding what Brad Holmes should do. That's what fans do. All right, this is what he should do. And then when he doesn't do what your perfect little season was, then all of a sudden Brad Holmes is stupid.
You're absolutely right.
What?
They are who we thought they were.
I mean, come on, guys. We aren't like what? Just because that's the other thing too. If you like stuff that Brad Holmes is doing, Johnny, if you like that, then you're just giving into the homerness, okay? I'm being realistic over here. Just because I have the balls to criticize Brad Holmes, that you're just the homer. You're the one. It's like, no, wait a minute. It takes way more balls to stand on this hill. It doesn't take any balls to say that the Lions won't win. You know why? Because if they don't win the Super Bowl, like if they don't go make the playoffs, win the first game, win the second game, win the third game, and the Super Bowl, then you get to stand on your hill and go, hey, Johnny, I was right. You see what happened? The Lions didn't win the Super Bowl. Well, neither did Josh Allen, neither did Patrick Mahomes, neither did Lamar Jackson.
You're absolutely right. It's a weird place we live in as far as like social media and the reactions and all this stuff. And I know we've talked about this before. I won't beat it up, but it's like, you either take the stance you want to take, you either want to try and be right, because that's, I guess if that means more to you in the long term, you'd rather be right than just live in the moment. That's fine. But again, there's nothing wrong with being behind Brad Holmes and the let Brad cook situation, because it's working. It's working. I don't understand the criticism of it. So I'm with you though, buddy. I think it's all NFL fans in general, I think to a certain extent set themselves up for a little bit of failure. It's in a small sense in my heart, I go, that's awesome, because that's positivity, within human nature. And I love that. So I'm okay with that. That's maybe a bigger discussion, but that's kind of how I see it.
It's okay though. It's okay, because if you have that type of passion for the Detroit Lions, then you're the type of people that I love. I mean, if you can be passionate enough to argue with me on this show and disagree with me, and passionate enough to come back to have these disagreements, to have these football conversations, then I love you. I love football conversations, because none of us are right. We don't know what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. We want the best things for our team. And finally, it seems like you have a competent, system of coaches and players and general managers for the first time ever. And it's like, what do you do when you're successful? Well, we don't know. We've never been successful.
True.
So we don't know what the recipe is. Like, obviously, the Philadelphia Eagles just won a Super Bowl, so everything they've done in the last 5 years is everything that we should be doing, right? Like, and it's like, well, so what you're doing is getting the best running back in the league, getting a great quarterback, and drafting defensive linemen, and that must be what you do. You must just get all big men now. And if a wide receiver caught 700 yards in the Super Bowl, then it would be like, oh, we just need to get that next wide receiver. Like, that's the copycat league that we are in. So whatever just happened is obviously the best thing and the greatest thing ever.
Yep.
But
remember, it was the Patriot way, and then it was the Chiefs way, and now it's the Eagles way, and it's the flavor of the time and where we're at. And the Lions are finding their way. So when the Lions win their Super Bowl, it will be the Lions way, which you're already starting to feel that a little bit in other organizations right now. You hear talks like in Chicago with the transition to Ben Johnson. They're basically Lions 2.0. I know Chicago fans don't want to hear that, but they are trying to mold that team exactly how the Lions are molded. So, and unfortunately, it's taken 40 years off of Ben Johnson already in the span of 2 months. Just, you see that photo, man? That was incredible.
Oh my God.
It's weird. It's weird. Do you put any emphasis into that, or you think that's just photo magic?
I mean, it's head coaching has to be like one of the most stressful jobs. Like, I couldn't imagine the pressure that goes along with that. And I think that Ben Johnson's got a couple of rude awakenings that he has to go through, even if he's going to be a great coach. He's got a couple of rude awakenings. For one, Penei Sewell doesn't grow on trees.
Good point.
Frank Ragnow's don't grow on trees. And the things that we have here, it's like you don't just go, oh, wow, we just need a great running game. And it's like you don't just poof, there's Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery on your team. So he's going to have to go through like running plays that might not work as well because it might not be blocked as well. It might, or, it's going to take a minute, even though they got to. I mean, I really like what the Bears did, by the way. So don't take this, Broski Bear or whoever, if you're going to watch this after. I'm not ripping on the Bears. I'm just saying that you got to be realistic with turning your guy around. Guys just don't go poof. Oh, I know everything that you want to do now. Everything that I do, I'm going to make all the right decisions perfectly. You got to go through the growing pain. Now, the growing pains might only take you 5 games. But the growing pains may never go away, and you may get fired after 2 years. So that's the table that you're on. There's the scale. So I don't know. He looks a lot. It's very stressful.
It is. I think to me the key there is the consistency. Can Ben Johnson establish a routine over the course of 2-3 years so that it doesn't have to change over again after next season? I mean, if they go out there and go 0-8, some weird which that won't be the case. No. I honestly think the Bears are competing with the Lions this year. So I'm with you. I'm not knocking the Bears at all, but to me, it's about long-term consistency. The Lions finally turned the table in 2020, and now 5 years later, here we are. And I think if the Bears can find a 5-year plan, then I think with the talent they've built, they can get there as well.
So when it comes with building long-term success, coming into this last topic, before I get into the last topic, by the way, let's get the chat back up here. And I appreciate Tanya, Christine, Chad's up in the house, my favorite Bigfoot hunter. Love you, brother. Rick C. Tanya, thank you. I appreciate you. Got Paul Jones up in the house, Central Scrutinizer. Love you guys, man. I appreciate you guys being on the live part. And if you're watching on the replay, just know that we do this every single Saturday at 10 a.m. and you can be here live as well.
Get involved. We love it. We love having you in the chat. Thank you guys.
But the next thing on the list right here was we're in the off season right here. I know we talked about this, but we can repackage it right here. The reason Brad Holmes isn't doing a lot of moves and the big name outside is because this is this is the reason why. Which one will be moving on? And if we don't sign anybody from the outside and spend any more money, one of these guys is going. There's no way that you can sign all of these guys to max contracts. And this is 2 years deal. We don't have to sign Branch this year. I didn't even put Gibbs on there. So Gibbs is on that list too.
Yeah.
So you're not going to be able to sign all these guys over a 2-year period. Now, you could push some of these through. We could work some stuff, maybe franchise tags, 5th-year options, maneuvering stuff. They already kind of did that with Jameson. So now Jameson's going to be here through 2026. But when it's all done, when the musical chairs, when the music stops, Johnny Gaz, which one of these guys will be moving on? Because we can't keep them all.
I would have first told you Kirby, but I think now that's all. I think he's going to be signed. So I think that's the indication is he's definitely going to be signed. So I would have been wrong with that assumption. So I have to move on from that. And I think the next one for me is Jamison Williams. And I know they're going to extend his option, but I just don't see them re-signing him long term. I think you can replace some of the speed. It's not the exact 1-for-1 speed, but I just think there are wide receivers out there. You can either go through the draft or pick up guys in free agency that can fill that void. You already have so much invested in Amon-Ra St. Brown. So I think that might be a guy that's expendable. If I had to add one more player from this list, I think they definitely keep Branch. If Gibbs, I think they're absolutely keeping Gibbs. To me, it'd be between Sam Laporta and Jack Campbell. And I love Sam Laporta, and I love them both. I love them both as players and guys, and they're same school, so it's unfortunate. But this is that's tough because I don't want to see either one of them go. But the truth is, if they're both demanding, max dollars, Jack Campbell, I'd have to say goodbye to Jack Campbell, and that's a really tough decision. I hate it very much, but if it's truly dollars and cents, I'd rather have the surefire tight end, the guy that's going to help your quarterback out. I just think the importance of Sam Laporta outweighs Jack Campbell, at least right now. Maybe 2 years down the road, I'll see this differently, but that's where I would answer it today.
I love that. That's good. And I agree with you. And I'll maybe package it a little bit different here, but Jamison Williams, and I'm going to go right here. It's the April 12th. Tomorrow's my birthday, by the way. I'm going to be 50 years. I'm going to be 50 tomorrow.
Heck, we should have. Why didn't we talk about that before? This would have been different.
I don't want to, because I'm not here trying to celebrate 50 guys.
Happy birthday, brother! That's awesome.
Thank you. I made it 50 years. But I'm going to say this April 12th, 2025, Jamison Williams will get traded from the Detroit Lions. Not this year, not this offseason. He's going to play this whole year, maybe next offseason, but he will be traded, and they're going to get a Tyreek Hill type of trade package from him. And that's just, and this is more to do with how much wide receivers cost and the fact that we already have Amon-Ra St. Brown under a big contract. Has nothing to do with, I think, Jamison Williams, he needs to mature up. None of that. I think he's going to be a great wide receiver. I think he's going to have 1,500 yards receiving this year and light the league on fire as he busts out and maximizes who he is. But wide receivers, pass rushers, as non-quarterback positions are costing some dollars now. And if you want to keep Kirby and Branch, you could do that a lot easier than you could keep Hutchinson and Jamison Williams because just the dollars. Safeties don't cost as much. Linebackers don't cost as much. Tight ends don't cost as much.
You got to pull up. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Villain. You have to pull up Tony's comment, please. I got to get this one back.
Wait a minute. Tony's comment.
So Tony says JMO's not just speed. He can do it all. And St. Brown is actually an easier replaceable from a pure talent angle. He's got a Michigan hat on in his photo. I'm not just assuming that's him, but I'm going to guess you're a Lions fan. So, bro, Yeah. Listen, I'm not knocking you, man. I'm okay. I like Jameson Williams, and if what Russ just described here, if he goes next level, then maybe I look at this differently in a year and a half. But there is no way you're going to sit here and tell me that we're going to replace St. Brown, all pro, multiple years over, your leader, the hardest working wide receiver in the NFL, non-diva, everything you want in a player for your organization. You're just going to let him walk over Jameson Williams, the kid that got caught with a weapon in a vehicle last offseason. Are you out of your mind? That is, I'm sorry, bro. That's crazy. That's crazy talk. You must have went to school with him or something. Tell me a story.
So I'm not mad at Tony over this. This comment comes with a little bit of logic in there, just from the schematic standpoint, like just from it's not Jameson Williams versus Amon-Ra St. Brown. It's talking about spending high dollars and not being put into a impossible situation like the Cincinnati Bengals. So let's just start it right there. And that way we don't have to get mad at Tony, because I love Amon-Ra St. Brown. I wouldn't do this in 100 years. Like, yeah, I know that you're not mad at Tony either. We don't get mad at the people, but I wanted to put this out there before people get mad at Tony that are in the comments over this or anything like that. This is coming from just straight logic, I think, right here. And Jameson Williams might be one of the most talented, if not the most talented wide receiver in the NFL right now. Like, as far as going into what he's going to do. And, all respect to the Justin Jeffersons of the world. I'm not saying he's better than Justin Jefferson, but I'm just saying that he is going to put himself in that elite category this year. He's already one of the best wide receivers, top 15, just by what he did. But I think he's going to move into the top 10, top 5 type of wide receiver. So I have no problem with Tony saying this.
I hope you're right. I hope you listen. That's why I'm okay with it, because I hope you're exactly right. That works out for everybody involved, for the Lions, for JMO, for St. Brown, everybody. So I'm okay with that. I don't know. I mean, if you gave me a trade package with JMO included or St. Brown included, no matter what the other side of it was, I'm never choosing the St. Brown side.
See, what Amon-Ra St. Brown has that, like, literally no other players, period, have. Like, what Amon-Ra St. Brown is, like, one of one in who he is as a mental football player. Blocking, like, doing the things when he's not, running routes, and just understanding, and in big moments just being cool. Like, you can't teach that. You can't teach that. And this is a hard question. This is why this is such a beautiful question to have right here, because this is going to be the hard decision. This is why Brad Holmes gets paid the big bucks, because I don't want to make this decision. I want all of them. Can we keep them all? Like, if there was a world that we could keep all of these players and then have them all be here, like the Brady Bunch, all the way up until 2030, and then let's just finish it out like that. That's just not reality.
Yeah. You'd have to have it. It isn't reality. I mean, it could sell a dream, right? But the only way things like that work is the restructuring of contracts. So Goff would have to, even though his contract isn't a huge deal, but I mean, he'd have to truly restructure. Hutchinson at some point would have to restructure. Penny, Sewell. I mean, you have to have a lot of buy-in to make something like that happen. And the problem is, we're talking about guys coming off rookie deals. So they rightfully so deserve to make money, at least on one contract. So to ask those guys to sacrifice is not okay, in my opinion. So then you got to hope your veterans then make good decisions. But it's just not, like you said, Russell, it's not reality. And the truth is, one or few of these guys are going to have to go.
That is reality. Now, there is a scenario where they could keep all of these guys, because there's a name that's not on this list, which is Jared Thomas, Michael W. Smith Goff. Nice. That his comment.
Is that really what it is?
No.
Oh.
I always throw Michael W. Smith in there. Old Christian artist right there. But Jared Goff's contract, I know that next year he's got the $69 million cap hit, and that's what everybody wants to talk about. But the 2027, 2028 parts of Jared Goff's contract ain't so bad. Like,
No.
Once he gets done with this 2026, then the guarantees, the bad part of what you would say the awful part of the contract is over. And if the Lions draft a quarterback within the next 2 years, the way that they could keep all of these players would be to move on from Jared Goff and have a quarterback on a rookie deal. This is just reality. This is just reality. Let's play Madden right here. You can't pay the $55 million and keep all these guys. Mm-hmm. And I love Jared Goff. I would never want to see. I'm not jumping off his bandwagon at all. I think we can win a Super Bowl with him. But we're talking like 2027 right here, where this is during that offseason, 2026 to 2027 is where a lot of these conversations are going to be heating up to see where it's at.
Do you think, based on some of those interviews, and I think I saw you post one with Brad Holmes about his description of Hendon Hooker, do you think in any world does he see starting time for the Lions in that scenario, or would it have to be somebody else, like a different draft pick, another rookie quarterback?
It could be a rookie. It could be Hendon Hooker. I think if it is like a Hendon Hooker, then it's going to be like they're going to extend him kind of like they did Jordan Love to where they can have a couple price break. But I think it would be a brand new guy. But you know how Brad Holmes loves to light fires, and Dan Campbell likes to light fires, because if you remember, mm-hmm. they also said a very similar thing about Jameson Williams.
True.
And that lit a fire, and he may be one of the best players. So I don't think the Lions are in a style of calling out players negatively right before they fire them. Like, I haven't seen it work out that way yet, at least with this regime. So I think this call out of Hendon Hooker, I'm staying with my prediction that when we get into training camp and we get into those first preseason games, you're going to see Hendon Hooker light up number 2 and number 3 defenses, and everyone's going to be on Hendon Hooker fire. You watch.
It's my quarterback.
Oh man, the fans will explode. Is it the best thing or the worst thing? I don't know. And it's like that then opens.
It's good for us.
It is. It's good for it'd be a great conversation, and we'll have fun with it.
All right. Get into the right here. This episode right here, as we go into the next topic, is brought to you by. We are brought to you by Fanatics.com. You can scan that code or use the link in the comments. Save up to 25% off of your order from our affiliate marketing partners at Fanatics.com. That's not just NFL gear. That's MLB gear, NHL gear, WWE gear. Get your gear. Get your gear from our link, and we appreciate that.
Your 1s, your 9s, your all the new numbers. You get it all right there.
And if we ever make $1 million, I'll split it with you, Johnny.
We're going to Sizzler.
We going to Sizzlers. So, last part of, and I figured that we'd have about 10 minutes left. Doing good with our timing again. Got the mock draft simulator in here, and I'm not doing this because I really want to do a mock draft. Okay? What I really want to do, Johnny, is just kind of play around and look at some of these players that are going to be available at that time. We can play around with some of these settings right here. I like to throw randomness up a little bit more and throw these guys up, caring for positional value and all that, whatever. All right. Don't worry about 7 rounds, whatever.
Yeah, if we're talking 5, 6, 7 round players, we're in trouble.
We only got 10 minutes. So going through and look at that. Is this realistic? What's going to be available here? Why do you think Kenneth Grant keeps on dropping why does he keep on being available in these drafts?
Slew of riches right there. That would just be, Lions wouldn't know what to do with their card at that point. It's like check. I would be fine with the top 5 guys right there. I'd be okay with it.
Wow.
5.
Anybody else in there?
There's
Nick Scorton.
Yeah.
6 guys. I don't know about any of these
Alexander.
other guys too. I don't know about any of these other guys too. I heard Tyreek Williams sneaking in there as a possible candidate. It just depends. Yeah, James Pierce. Let's see. We got trade wise. Is this a trade back opportunity? They don't. We're not going to go back all the way back to 39.
No,
they would all be gone.
Top of the second round.
Yeah. So we'd have to. We'll have to slick select one of these guys right here, drafting a player. Gosh, man, this would be crazy. I think that you got to go with.
You take your edge here. Do you go with James Pierce, or do you like something else? That if he's there, we're just assuming at 28 they haven't done anything to move up or move down. So, I this is just my opinion. But if that's truly the player that's available, James Pierce gives you so much versatility. It speaks a little bit to your 3-4 scheme around, and he's a pure pass rusher. So, might be the guy.
Gosh, man, that's tough, dude. That's a tough decision. Kenneth Grant. The answer to why he would drop in a draft is just because he plays nose tackle, and not everybody in the league uses a nose tackle. So he might just be off boards just schematically to some team. So this could be good for us being in there. He didn't test out at the combine quite as athletic as they thought that he would. So maybe that's why he's dropping a little bit right there. But I'll do what you said right there. I think that you take the chance. This character thing, I heard that he's not a very good teammate, and that's why he falls in. But as far as the pure ability, you got to take him. So there he is. James Pierce will be the first one. There you go.
I've heard that too. Yeah. What I'm hearing from him, the story is like he's not a bad guy. Like he hasn't committed a felony or like done something on campus that he's something like that. It's not that, but it's like he's just not about the extracurriculars. He doesn't want to be a part of team groups. He's a kind of an introvert guy. So the problem is when you look at an NFL draft, evaluation, they can twist and mold that into whatever they want. And again, I don't know him personally, and only it's up to Brad Holmes and those guys to dissect that. But if they feel good about it, I'd feel good about them making that pick.
Well, in our case right here, we're just, we're the dumb fans, and we're just going to take the guy because edge is right there. But then here we are in the second round with a really, really good edge staring us right in the face with Jared Ivey. Look at that, and that actually fits more of what we are right now. I'm looking at these type of things right here. Do we go wide receiver? Probably not. Maybe a safety, Texas safety. But, it seems like we're reaching right here. Maybe cornerback.
Down one more. There's a guard out of Georgia, the Ratledge guard. To me, Lions need still a backup offensive lineman, so you could look there.
There's Hosea Stewart. They brought him in for 2.
Yeah, the smart move in this draft, I think, would have been, like you said, to take Kenneth Grant maybe in that 28 pick and then take your edge here. But you don't know. It's like how would we know it's
right? Yeah. Look at some of these guys. Let's go look at Demetrius Knight. Off-ball linebacker. Very good athlete, explosive first step. Fast hands, give him decent pass rushing potential. I mean, this is such an interesting draft just from the aspect of what are we playing? What are we doing in our defense? Because right now we're a tweener. I mean, we could play 3-4 or 4-3 just based off what we got. And I really believe that this draft is going to determine what type of defense that is Kelvin Shepard. Not totally, but just a little bit, are we going to be more of a 3-4 based, or just depending on what guys would be available? And I'm going with my scheme fit right here. But that's a nice linebacker sitting right there. I mean, wide receiver, is that really off the board? You got a 6-foot wide receiver. He doesn't. Difference-making athleticism. We already got one of you.
Yeah, I don't.
We don't
have to be the right wide receiver. I think it's not off the board. I think they absolutely will try to fill that at some point in the draft. Maybe at this point they would double dip. I mean, Brett Holmes, he double dipped last year. Could he double dip here and go with Jaden Ivey? And he did mention in his interview that they didn't secure the one big player, but he might want to get multiple defensive linemen. So maybe that would attribute to them double dipping across the edge, because Pierce, again, is sort of your pass rusher. He could play both sides. He's an out. You can play linebacker. So then maybe Jared Ivey is more of your Jaden Ivey. I'm thinking Pistons. Jared Ivey is more of your, your true set edge pass rusher. You know what I mean? So who knows? It could go a lot of ways.
Well, since we don't know, that's where I'm going with it. I like going back to back. You get two different kind of defensive ends. This guy looks big enough that he could double in the middle and, play defensive tackle in a pinch too, where you could have both of them. So I'm going to go with Jared Ivey.
Yep. Power and athleticism. You kind of got a little bit of best of both worlds there. I like that.
Oh, look at that. We got Savion Williams. And
that's my guy. That's it. I'm sorry.
Wyatt Millen.
Love that guy.
Look at that. 6'5". Right there. It's hard for me not to just go boom. That guy, right? Yeah, we need a big X wide receiver. I mean, we love Tim Patrick, but he's on a 1-year deal. Mm-hmm. So realistically, even if he does play good, he's going to price himself out. So the chances of Tim Patrick doing a back-to-back, 1-year deal with us is probably down. I like this pick. Let's look at these other two guys. And I'm not going to look at him, but maybe this Wyatt Millen. Oh, look at that PFF grade for last year. He looks like he's been pretty consistent and that he's just gotten better too. 2021 or 2022, 2023, 2024. You got a guy that looks like he's progressed. 6'6", 317, 1,155 pass blocking snaps. That's crazy.
Without allowing a single sack. That's incredible. Honestly,
wow.
Dylan, I've never even heard of this guy. So I got to look at Wyatt Millen a little bit more here, because that would be excellent. And but the problem is I don't know if the Lions are looking for a tackle, but that looks like a good pick. I'm surprised he lasts that long.
Yeah, I think that's going to be. I think I would take him over the Savion Williams right now, because you go best player available, right? And we need that. Like, what if that just decided that Manu was going to be a guard, and then you just bring in your tackle? Like, one way or another, you need an offensive lineman.
I'm okay with that, because wide receiver isn't a true, like, in my opinion, just like a need, like a must-have, where I'd rather fill a backup tackle. Honestly, I'm serious, because if Tim Patrick goes down, it's like, all right, we'll shuffle some things around. But if Taylor Decker goes down, it changes the whole routine offensively. So I want to build the offensive line as much as possible. So I agree with that assessment.
A strong run blocker between the tackle with good power and contact. That's awesome. Yeah, I think this is our pick right here.
Let's do it. I like
6'6", yeah. Wyatt Millen. See, I like these when we do experiments rather than, this is my super mock draft. It's like I like doing the experiments, because then you learn where the guys are gonna be. And I know that PFF isn't the end all be all, but they've been pretty good the last couple of years as far as where these guys are going to go. So I'm okay with that. So there you go. Wyatt, welcome to the Detroit Lions. So two defensive ends and a tackle.
Big boys. Love that.
Ooh, look at pick 130, RJ Mickens from Clemson creeping through, looking like we don't have a summary on him. We don't know anything about him other than his size. 6 foot, 210. That's good size for a safety. Clemson, good school.
What's the height on Tez Johnson there? What's the wide receiver? I'm not familiar with him.
Tez Johnson. Ooh, he's got a profile. 5'10", 165. There's why he slipped.
Yeah, that's a small guy. I don't know if they're bringing in another small wide receiver.
Yeah. See, and somebody might be like, "What are you doing? I can't believe you just shut off Tez Johnson." Jackson Dart. Wow, that might be competition. I don't mind any of that. Tackle, safety, Jordan Hannock out of Ohio State. They must be working on side. See, I don't know what to do here.
Or Ty Felton out of Maryland right there.
Where?
He's up a little bit.
There you go.
Ty Felton out of Maryland.
Let's take a look at him. I like the size.
I've only seen him a little bit. He's like a little bit longer. And again, I didn't get enough read from this guy to say he's going to be an NFL player. But when I always look at it, it's like you have a big time school, the right size, the right fit. So to me, this might not be a bad look based on his measurables.
Yeah, but here we are. This is remember here, guys. This is a 4th round pick right here. We're picking 4th round. There's a defensive tackle. 6'5", 295, lean and long. Makes him an easier projection as a 3-4 defensive end. He's kind of got that Levi Onwuzurike build.
Yep,
a little bit. I like that one the best so far. I don't know what else to do here. Another edge. Do we go 3 edges?
That would be. Heck, give him options certainly, but I just think, I don't know. I mean, who knows?
Outside linebacker here though.
Right, yeah. Would be wild.
Let's see what he does. Oh, Jack Kaiser.
Be okay with that. A winning guy. Maybe not as athletic as you want in a linebacker, but winning. I like those kind of players. Barrett
Carter. It's like the 2 good linebackers there, evidently. While needs to get stronger, Carter is an athletic, versatile defender. Could be a valuable chess piece as a weak side linebacker. I like this pick right here.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, a linebacker. See, what I'm looking for, just say my profile would be athletic players that can get into our coaching system and excel. I mean, I know that nobody likes to hear the developmental piece because that seems like that, but we're in the 4th round right here. We're not getting starters here, guys. We wouldn't. So, I'll do that. Barrett Carter. I feel good about that. And then moving on. Last pick for me. I'm not going to pick a 7th round pick, but we'll see what we got here. Anybody sticking out?
Let's see. Let's look at the size of this wide receiver out of Pitt, Konata. Or this guy too. We can look at that too. It's fine.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Andrew Armstrong.
6'4".
Well, I like that. 6'4", 202. Again, I need to read up on him a little bit, but if we're looking at pure measurables, that's what we're looking for now. Is somebody that give you some height at wide receiver.
6'1", 185. That's not bad either.
Yeah, still.
Well, Pitt. Let's see. Which one of these guys? Let's see. 219. 217. They're pretty much the same guy. This guy, I'll take the bigger one.
I like it.
That?
Yeah, give you
there you go.
Guys there, wide receiver.
Let's see what they like my draft.
What does PFF say?
PFF gives me an A-. Yes. All right.
Feel good about that. Hey, I feel really good about coming out of the draft with 2 solid edges that you can work in your system. You backed up your tackle position. I feel good about it. I really do. I'd be fine with that.
So there you go. We did a little bit of experiment. Like I said, I'm not married to any of these picks or anything like that. I'm good. I'm going to stop my screen sharing right there. But this has been a good episode. Absolutely. Man, I always enjoy talking with you, Johnny.
Appreciate you, man.
This is very, very fun. So let's go through here and give everybody I didn't even hook you up at the beginning right there.
Oh,
Go subscribe to Johnny Gaz right there. The link right in the comments for you to go and subscribe to the Johnny Gaz. I don't know why I always say Gaz. It's like I'm a dentist or something. But no, go over there and subscribe to his page. I get to be featured on his page sometimes too, and that's always fun doing the recorded sessions. I'm learning how to record some of our stuff and put out nice pieces like you do. I'm trying to
We're
get
kicking
my
butt,
game
man.
up a little bit.
We're kicking butt. We just came off a video, top 10 most important Lions. There's a good feature there. So yeah, definitely go check it out.
My YouTube page is at the Detroit Lions Villain Squad YouTube page. There it is right there for you. And this is the Facebook page. You can follow the villain for free. Doesn't cost you anything. I'm not going to buy a hoodie for you, but if you want to buy a hoodie, you can get 25% off your order by using our villain link right there. And we would love that. So, as awesome, it's been a great show. Johnny Gaz, it's always nice having you on here.
Thank you, brother.
This is the Lion Villain Report. You can join us every morning at 10 a.m. Or not every morning, but every Saturday morning live at 10 a.m. For the rest of the off season, we're going to pump it up a little bit once we get closer to the season and there's more information. But for right now, we enjoy coming here on Saturdays. It's faith, family, and then football. I believe in that. I live that in my life. We use football. We don't let football use us. Use football to spend time with your family and create memories. Don't let football use you. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord shine his face upon you until we meet again in Jesus' name. Amen. Johnny Gaz, thank you. Thank you to everybody that's in the comments. Thank you for listening. We will see you guys when we see you.